Hello, friends, and welcome. It's Crystal Joy Johnson of CJoy Yoga. And just to put it out at the start, because I always forget to put it on the end, if you like the contents, the video, the sequences, like anything about what it is that we're putting out, please take the time and like us and share us on your other social media feeds. It's how new people find us and how we find new friends. Yeah. And so that said, we are still in that land of kapha, in that external world out there outside of these walls. And so we are trying to counter by bringing some of the opposite qualities. The main three we've been focusing on are warmth, stimulation, and lightness. So that said, let's go ahead and let's get moving. We're going to actually start on our buttocks, and you can just have the legs right out in front of you. You can be facing long ways on your mat for video purposes. Rather than move my mat, I'm just going to move my body. So go ahead and just bring your hands behind you. You can be on fingertips or on palms, depending on the length of your arm. I find with fingertips and a little elbow bend, I get a little more chest opening. That's in my body, right? Those are my proportions. So go ahead and point your toes and flex your feet and point your toes and flex your feet. And just start, we're going to start by stimulating our joints here and get our joints nice and lubricated. And then go ahead and move through a circle. Both feet can go one way or not, really doesn't matter that much. And go ahead and go the other way, just moving them through range of motion, right? And even more than range of motion, it's just, mobility. And then go ahead and come on back to center. Now you're going to try and get your pinky toes to come closer to me. And then you're going to try and get the inner edge of your feet. And so just go ahead and move the feet in those two directions a couple of times. Pronation and supination is the fancy names, right? And then go ahead and let your feet windshield wiper back and forth, and let this one ripple up into the knees and the hips. So I really try to keep my upper body nice and soft. And I get going at a pretty good clip just to start to play with the joints above. Yeah. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and have them go the opposite way. Toes in, feet out, toes in, feet out. Same idea. We're just now moving the feet in different directions. Okay, go ahead and release that. Now, just to starting to move up the legs, you're going to go ahead and you're just going to bring your right knee in. You can put your hand, you can bring it a little closer, hug it in and lengthen the spine. And then when you send it out, try to hover for about a minute, a breath, I was going to say, or a second, and set it down. Bring that left leg in. And again, I'm going to, use my hands and bring it in the first time and hug it in, lengthen the spine. Maybe I round over it, whatever feels good. And then I'm going to reach that heel out and I'm going to hover for a moment. There's the word I need, and bring that down. So now without your hands and without bringing the foot closer, now it's just wherever you get to. You're going to bring the right foot back. You can open the chest a little, send it out, hover, and set it down. Bring the left leg in as close as you can comfortably, and send it out, hover, and set down. This time when I bring the right foot in, I'm going to let the right foot fall over, bring it up, send it out, hover, set it down. Left foot in, let it fall out, bring it in, send it out, hover. One more of those. Right foot in, just send that leg out. We're just starting to say hi to the hippie now, if you can't tell. Reach that out. And left foot in, send it out, bring it back, straighten it, hover, bring that down. Okay, so now moving in that same vein, you're going to go ahead and you're going to bring your right foot back, and I want you to walk it out about, I don't know, 2 feet or so. And then with just the one leg, the right leg, you're going to start to do windshield wiper. But when you do, let your opposite hip and leg go with it. So my knee goes back, my toes on the left foot go the same way. When my knee goes forward, my toes on the left foot rotate with me. So it's not about that left leg, but meaning just let that be pretty loosey-goosey over there as you move that right leg through its windshield wiper, internal and external rotation motions, right? Now stabilize the left foot, push the thigh down. Try not to move that leg or that hip at all, that side of the hip, and move through windshield wiper a couple more times. And send it out, hover, Set it down. Bring that left foot up, about the height of the knee or so. Walk it out a good distance, 2.5 feet. And again, when I start that windshield wiper motion on this left foot, I'm going to let that right leg and hip move with it, right? So my toes and my thigh can move, my sacrum can lift, whatever feels right for you. And then come to center, pause, slather that puppy down, and go ahead and move again, right? Moving just the left leg this time in the socket and breathing. Noticing what you notice about anything happening in the joints of the lower body so far. Come back to center, bring that foot back, send it out, hover, and set that down. Okay, one more in this vein. Go ahead and let your legs come on out wide, or from the seated position, I should say, and then we're gonna add some other things in. So you can leave your hands behind you, and you're just gonna do a simple bend of the knee, right? And if the pelvis wants to move a little bit with that, that's totally allowed. Don't make the legs too rigid. They're a little active, but not too active, right? And then if it feels okay in your body, go ahead and let it be almost like a swaying kind of emotion, right? Like the imagery I love when I get fluid or try to get fluid is being a piece of kelp in a sea kelp forest. It helps me find softness. And that can look like anything, right? Maybe you want to really play with that upper body and start to wake it up, and arms want to move, or I don't know, whatever. But the legs are still doing the same motion, right? We're just bringing that upper body into it. Next time you go to the right, straighten the right leg out, and let's just come down over for a few moments. Don't worry too much about alignment points or anything. I'm going to pulse a little in and up, right? Using my arms. Coming up, I'm going to rotate over towards that left leg, coming down over. And again, you can stay in stillness. I'm just kind of pulsing in and out. I'm not being too strict about my buttocks bone rooting down or any of that kind of stuff, right? And then go ahead and just take a couple of circles. I like to use my hands in front of me just to make sure I don't hurt my low back or dump down too much. Go ahead and come the other way. And then go ahead and grab your inner knees, bring the soles of the feet in. Go ahead and come through to hands and knees. Couple of cat cows, letting the spine begin to move in those two directions. So now we're obviously still working with the sacrum, but we're starting to bring it up into the spine a bit more. And then we're going to go into that lateral stretch where we bring the same hip and shoulder towards each other and look over that shoulder, so to speak. So right hip, shoulder, move in, look back over the right shoulder, and then do the same on the left. And just let it be this kind of swaying back and forth, right? Here we are still kind of doing that swaying motion, playing with all of the vertebrae. Now, if it's okay to let the ribs do the swaying, right? So I think about my low mid ribs moving to the right, and then I just let the rest of my body follow it. Come on back to center. Walk your hands a couple of inches forward. Curl the toes under and come on back in a downward dog. Now, the first thing we're going to do here is you can have a bend in the knees. That's fine. You're going to let your heels both sweep over to the right. Your hips move over to the right with that a little bit. Hopefully we're getting somewhere in that left side body. And then they come through center. They're going to sweep over to the left. So they don't have to touch the ground like mine are doing, just sweeping the heels, both of them the same direction a couple of times, and opening up any side body action that you can find. Come back to center. We'll do the pedal where we push one heel down and then the other, possibly waking up the calves, back to the knees, back to the thighs, right? And then here's one for the shoulders. If it's okay with you, let's actually bring the knees down for this one, right? So now go ahead and move the upper body in a circle so that we move the upper body over the top of the shoulder, over the top of the ball and socket joint, if that makes sense. And go ahead the other way. I don't know if I said that all that well, but hopefully it makes sense in your body or just feels all right. And then go ahead and come on back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Pull that belly up and try to step the foot forward. If you're having a hard time getting it forward, remember blocks give you a whole bunch of room to work with. We're going to step back and forth a couple of times. Step your right foot back. I'm going to stay on blocks, right? And then step the left foot forward. You hear Hunter? And step that left foot back. It doesn't have to be all the way forward if that's not there for you. Step the right foot forward, come into a lunge, and step back. Step the left foot forward, come into a lunge, and step back. We're going to do an add-on. Step the right foot forward. Now this time, come into the lunge on the inhale. On the exhale, straighten the right leg, move the right hip back, drop the left heel as low as it can, folding over that front leg, starting to wake up the back of the right thigh, right? And then go ahead and bend the knee and switch the legs out, right leg back, left leg forward, move into the lunge. And then go ahead and straighten the left leg, reach the right heel down, move the left hip back, softening in. Again, don't worry too much about all the alignment that I often bring in. Let this just be a little fluid today. Bend that right knee. And this time you're going to step your right foot forward to the front of the mat. Hands on the shins, chest forward, coming halfway up. Exhale, folding in. And again, inhale, coming halfway up. Some of my friends, you might be able to get your hands to the ankles or the floor. Exhale and keep that long spine. But really, if you can't lengthen the spine, bring the hands up higher. And take one more inhale, stay right there. Find your solar plexus and your corset and your pelvic floor. Bring the hands to the hips, elbows up, and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring the arms down to the side. 2 half salutations. Inhale, I'll talk you through them if they're unfamiliar. Maybe palms touch, maybe not. Exhale and folding in. Soft neck. Inhale, find that long spine, that core work. Exhale, folding in. Soft neck. Inhale from your feet, from the foundation. That was all of January. Come up. Exhale, bring your hands down. We're going to do a little add-on. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. From here, grab your left wrist and lean right. Back through center and grab the other wrist, leaning left. And doing that again. Maybe the hip moves the opposite direction if that feels like it benefits you or gets you extra length or stretch somewhere. And now we'll fold in. Exhale, folding in. Inhaling length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Interlock thumbs or interlace fingers behind your back. You could work with a strap, of course. With the elbows bent, I'm going to literally use my thumbs to push my tailbone forward, right? And then once I got that going on, try to move the elbows together to touch, and this will make sense in just a moment, right? Now you're going to try to hop your knuckles over towards your right hip-ish. And again, move your elbows, both of them moving towards one another here. Go ahead and let your right ear move towards your right shoulder. But that said, you can, turn the chin down. You can kind of play with it, move around in a little bit. And at some point in time, you're going to find a spot or two that are like, whoo, in the neck, and breathe into it. Maybe pause. And then bring the head up. Bring those knuckles through center over towards the left hip-ish. Move your elbows in together. Pardon me, like they could touch. Maybe left ear towards left shoulder. But again, that's not an exact science. Go ahead and just move your head, your chin around a little bit and find the spot that really would like the space today. Bring the head back up, bring the knuckles down. You might keep the elbows bent, you might straighten them, and then bend your knees and fold in, reaching the knuckles up. It could be just off your back, and that might feel like plenty. And I say reach the knuckles, but if we're a little wiser and a little more advanced in our practice, think about your humerus bone, your upper arm bone starting to reach forward towards what was the front of the room when you were standing, right? So you could work from your upper arm bones. Bring the hands down to the low back, let them part. Inhale, come halfway up. From here, you're going to go ahead and you can use those blocks. You're going to step your left foot back, right? Maybe you stay right here and you just come into the lunge legs. Maybe hands on thigh, push the thigh, right? Pull the frontal hip points up. Maybe you add in Stretching the arms up, soft shoulders. Grabbing left wrist. You could put right hand. That's a little more stable for most people. And then maybe the upper body leans over to the right. Back to center, bringing the hands down. Step forward and step the right foot back. Not quite as much fancy fanfare today about it, right? Get into that lunge and you might stay there. You could put your knee down if you needed to. Maybe hands come on the thigh and you push down the thigh and pull the frontal hip points up. Maybe you inhale the arms up, any amount. Maybe you stay there. Left hand could come down. It's a little more stable where we're going. Otherwise, left hand grabs right wrist. And just like we did moments ago, we lean to the left and we breathe, hopefully. Come back to center, bring the hands down. Step forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach those arms out and up, or hands on hips or whatever. Maybe palms touch, maybe not. Exhale, hands down. Where are you at today? What feels really good in your body? Bring those arms down and just pause for a moment. So let's just do a standing series just to kind of move into the pelvis and that upper body a little bit again. So you can just simply stand sideways on your mat. And we're going to turn to the right first. That means the left foot in, heel, or heel back. I always say and or. Different folks work differently with that back foot, right? The whole left leg, right leg turns out. Inhale those arms out. We're going to turn the palms up. We've been working with that shoulder softening down business and finding space at the neck. So just keep them like this for today's sequence, if you don't mind. Go ahead and bend the right knee. Plus it puts our arms into position for everything that comes following this. So breathing from that place, here we are in Warrior Two. With those soft shoulders, we might even be able to turn and look over that right hand. Bring that left hand down. You can just keep the palm up and rest the back of the hand. Reach that right arm up and over. Get that right hip heavy and lengthen out of that. And then bringing it all the way forward. You could come onto a block inside the foot or grab the ankle. You could put the elbow on the knee. And then if we reach that left arm all the way over, palm down, side angle, right? You could have hand on hip, of course. And then really reach down through that back outer left heel. I'm realizing I need to turn mine out a little bit to get a little more leverage, right? So I can, and then reach away from that. Now bring your hand back and bring it against your right hip. Pull the right hip in so the left shoulder rolls open. And then gently turn the head down. And again, play with the chin, a little in, a little out, right, left. Just kind of circle it around until you're like, uh-huh. And hopefully you're feeling a stretch in the neck here, a healthy, lovely stretch. And then lift the chin a little bit, turn the head back to neutral. We're going to go to triangle, reach the left fingertips up, straighten that right leg. You could just transfer over. You could stay on the block today. Maybe turn and look up. I'm going to grab my block while I'm here because I'm going to use my block today and I'm coming up. Turning the feet forward, I'll just set my block down on the other side. That way it's there when I'm ready for it. Right toes in, heel back, whole left leg out. Inhale the arms out. Again, palms up for today's purposes. We're going to bend that left knee, right? And if I keep my hands up, I get a whole bunch more space around my neck and my shoulders, and it might be able to turn with a little more ease. And then bring that right hand down. That left palm is going to reach up. Keep that left hip so heavy and lengthen away from that. And then reaching forward, forward, forward. Bring that hand, forearm onto the leg or hand on the block. You're going to reach that right palm over, palm down. And then that back heel down, arm reaches over. Of course, modification is hand on the hip, elbow, and shoulder back, right? And then breathing there. Now to get a little bit into that neck stretch, we're going to bring that right hand back, holding the left hip as much as we can anyway, or towards it. Hold it in, roll the shoulder open, and then turn the head down and kind of circle the chin around just a little bit till you find your spot, right? And then pause there and breathe. Lift the chin a little bit, turn the head forward. Right fingertips are going to reach up. We're going to straighten the left leg. Hand could transfer to the leg or stay on the block. And breathing here in triangle. Again, if I move those shoulders down away from my ears, I might be able to turn and look up with a little more ease. But don't force your neck into that, right? Toe in the belly and inhale, come on up. Hands on the hips, turn the toes forward, one more standing pose, and then we'll take a leg break. This time our feet are parallel like train tracks. You could have that block in front with the hopes of maybe getting the crown of the head or at least the foreline down to a surface. We're going to try to do a forward fold. Elbows back, lengthen the body, the torso, and then go ahead and start to fold in. And here's where some of us, we still can't get anywhere near the block. You could use a second one to bring it in, but don't worry too much about it if you can't get to it. And I like to remind people, don't try to move down to a block, move down to wherever it is you move to naturally, and then bring the prop into you. So again, if you can get the crown of the head, take that. Hands back between the feet or grabbing edges of the outer ankles. But maybe for you, it's a little easier to get your forehead, your hairline, I'll call it, right where your forehead and your hairline meet. Now, keeping the legs as straight as you can, I want you to rock the pelvis right to left over the tops of the balls of the femur, right? Acetabulum. If that one doesn't make sense, let it go. And then lift the head. If it's on a block, move the block. Turn your feet out to a 45. And you're going to bend your left knee and straighten your right leg and try to come down like you're going to sit on that the left heel. Sorry, my right toes lift and I flex that foot. You might be a lot higher than me and it's okay. Right? And then we're going to come all the way over towards the other side. You could just rock back and forth if you're like, there's no way I'm doing anything like that. But if you can drop down like you're going to sit on the left heel, my heel lifts. Also, my left toes lift. I might have said right, left, wrong on that side. I apologize if I did. We're going to do that one more time. Come back through center. Sit down on your left heel as it lifts. Lift your right toes. And come back through center. Sit down on your right heel. Lift your left toes. And come back through center to come out safely, friend. Turn your toes forward. Tone the abdomen. Lengthen the spine. Hands on the hips. I always bend my knees because I tend to hyperextend and then I don't have to worry about it, right? And go ahead. You could heel toe in, but because we've been working a little bit of strength, you might, right, bend the knees and push off to step the feet in. Breathing. Okay, we're almost there, friends. We're going to come on down through wide-legged squat. Say hi to those hippies one more time. We're not going to work it. Inhale the arms up and start to come on down. You know your hands can drop forward and you can do shin drop, or you can bring your hands back and bring the buttocks down. Okay, and we're going to go right down onto our back. So use a little bit of core. Come on down onto your back. Right ankle, left knee, flex the right foot. Right knee gently moves forward. You can stay right there or bring the legs in and interlace behind the left thigh. And of course, the in-between would be left foot on a block, something like that, right? And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let my left leg kind of windshield wiper back and forth from where it's at. And just start to play with that whole back of that right hip, low back as much as I can, whatever I can get anyway. And then keep your leg position, your right leg where it is. Bring the left foot down wide on the outer edge of the left mat. Tee the arms out. Windshield wiper the legs over to the right. Head can turn to the left, right? And then, breathe and stuff. Left leg's the powerhouse this time. It brings everything up. We bring the right foot down to its in front of the buttocks foam position. Left ankle, right knee, flex the foot. You can stay right here. And by the way, you can do the rocking back, whether it's here on a block or all the way in. Maybe bring those legs in and gently move that left knee forward. And then again, that right thigh, whatever position you're working from, you can let it just kind of windshield wiper back and forth, right and left. And just see if maybe you can't play with the back of that left hip, thigh, low back, wherever you're feeling it. Come back to center. We bring the right foot down to the right outer edge of the mat. Tee the arms out and the legs look over to the left. And I didn't say this on the other side, but you can bring that top foot down if it doesn't feel right in your body. Maybe turning the head to the right. Definitely softening. That was a weird laugh. And then go ahead and let the right powerhouse bring everything up. Have that left foot come down. You've got constructive rest pose legs that you could use, feet wide, knees lean in, or you could extend the legs out into Shavasana style legs. Whether your hands are on the body or out to a 45, please have the elbows out away from the body just a little bit, right? So you get those shoulder blades softening into their, I call it the Goldilocks position. And it's slightly different for everybody, but gently softening on the back, away from the ears. We'll be here for about 45 more seconds, a minute or so. Letting the body soften, feeling that weight of the body softening down. And of course, you, my friends, are in your own space, whatever that happens to be with a video. So you can simply stay here and continue to give yourself a little bit of time to just be and not have to do. But if you're on a time commitment, start to bring that gentle movement into the body before you get up, whatever that might be. Making your way into an upright posture when you're ready. Bringing those hands together in front of the chest. Inhale. Exhale, bow your head in and just, take a moment and find something to be grateful for. There's so much science out on a gratitude practice. I hope you do it way more often than just when you do a video and I tell you to. Namaste, friends. But we all start somewhere, right? I started by having someone tell me to start to be grateful. So, be so well, friends. May you stay warm, stimulated, and light as much as possible. And remember, that's also your diet as well as your lifestyle.